just because he created Operation Warp Speed and like the most horrible thing that's ever come on, the planet.
5 hours ago.
Just because he was kind of the father of that, we don't want to, throw the baby out with the bathwater. Maybe he was used. Maybe he's gonna
March 22nd.
Maybe he's gonna do good. I don't know, because God's in charge. He puts people in place when they need to be in place. But I felt very alone, and I did a lot of shows, and I talked about a lot of things where I said the days to come would be very interesting. I even did, privilege to come across people like Biff, who is all about the Trumpster.
So as I was showing you Trump, and I was showing you Trump. I was showing you Wizard of Oz, and I was showing you the Wizard of Oz, along with the face of Stephen James. So I'm showing you that. March 20th, 2 days ago, the Wizard of Oz. And with that two heads, so I'm showing you the two back to back, Stephen James and the Wizard. And then, so what Jacob is continuing to show you is,
and he has some interesting things to share on Twitter, so you can check him out.
Biff, is that the most interesting man in the world?
I guess he was banned for a while, but then he was brought back. And he's like, no. So organically, all of the things that kind of came to me kind of came to him, which is pretty cool.
And that's like the times where I don't even watch Jacob's video yet, but yet he's referring to similar things. And it's either one, time travel, two, pure coincidence every single time.
But he makes a lot of comparisons to, the things that we see in movies like Back to the Future. Kitty Kitty Meow. Did you see Back to the Future? You're a witness. You support the channel. Thank you. But here's the interesting thing, because if it's all about time travel, and if he is connected to time travel, maybe it's a thing that's going down, which is why I really liked his tweet where it said, "Not for the faint of mind." I'm glad that you love the show. This for a second, because he does kind of look like the Wizard. Let me see if I can blow this picture up so you can take a look. That's something that I have shared before, and I always thought that this was just so interesting.
Here's my comparisons back on the 20th. Jacob Israel's comparisons.
But do you know something? Can I remind you all of something? In the end, it was the Wizard that helped Dorothy to go home. I don't want to just bury the guy, because I feel like all of this stuff is suspect. There may be more. Maybe there's something going down. Maybe something good will come out of this. I don't know. Palm Sunday and Easter approaches. The two most sacred days in the calendar for those who follow Jesus as both God and Messiah.
So this is
two
live.
Members of the Knesset, that's Israel's parliament.
Jacob Israel's videos
They
live.
introduced a bill last week that would ban any and all efforts for people to talk about Jesus. The bill would send violators to prison.
All right. So in this scene here, let me zoom in a little bit more. I'm walking up to the art museum. This is live. I'm trying to see if I can tap in to Jacob Israel, or he's going to time travel and he's going to show stuff that I'm either already going to do or I'm doing it. And so if you notice, when he takes the blowhorn, he will turn it more, because you can see what I'm showing in the camera, and it's a red circle. And I'm talking about going to jail, and I'm saying do not enter.
Do not enter prison.
Prison.
No.
Did you hear that?
I did.
You
I heard
will
it.
go to jail if you talk about Christ.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Are you kidding me, Jacob?
That's not cool.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Talk about.
No.
Did you hear that?
I.
Prison.
No.
Did you hear that? Prison.
No.
Did you hear that?
There you go. There's the red and the red. So that's just one little, maybe.
I did.
You
I
will
heard it.
go to jail if you talk about Christ.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Are you kidding me, Jacob?
That's not cool, dude.
It's not cool. It's not cool. But I'm
love
I'm not
Jesus.
that concerned.
Jesus Christ.
Just so you know. Because, there's nothing new under the sun. Whatever it's been, will be.
Except for what's under the
And
sun.
we are in.
Hang
It's
out with
that
you
terrible.
live.
But I'll tell you one thing.
Out
It's
with
that
you.
terror just means unveiling.
So,
It's
Jacob,
not
I'm going to
anything
hang
that's
out with
that
you
terrible.
live.
But I'll tell you one thing. I'm excited about the Netflix Waco series.
All right, so now he's already showing you the house, the building. If you're looking at the art museum, if you just look at it from the side view, it would have the identical look to it.
That's
If you wanna
coming out.
Make
Who
reference
has
to
heard about
anything.
this in the
As a-
live
If you want to make reference to anything as I'm live streaming, so he already showed this before I showed that.
chat?
Walking.
Tell me. Stephen Morris says the in the that's
If you wanna
coming out.
Make
Who
reference
has
to
heard about
anything.
this? That's
If you wanna
coming out.
Make
Who
reference
has
to
heard about
anything.
this in the
as I'm
live chat?
walking.
Tell me. Stephen Morris says the Noah
Noah. He's saying as a Noah, and that's like the Noah's Ark.
Hyde laws are coming. A lot of people have been talking about that for a long time. It's not something that I talk about, but who knows? I think that the Hulu show *Handmaid's Tale*, I think it was very telling, and I think that
I'm still showing.
as Zach says, I'm already in prison.
Zach
Many
wins?
people are in prison. So maybe it's time to leave prison. Maybe it's time to be crucified and to rise again. Because I think that's
General
what's going to come.
Nathaniel
We're entering
Green.
into a time of victory, not
Green.
defeat.
Fight.
There's
You
the
know,
house.
so while everybody's so stressed out and
Fight.
crying and carrying on and like, oh, it's so terrible, everything's so
defeat.
bad.
Defeat,
I
not
say to
get
you
beat.
people, things are going to be okay. Things are going to be all right. Don't get so sad. Don't worry just because
Don't worry. So now he's timing it. So now he's going to pop it back on the video again.
Waco's in the news. Make America great again, rally
Look at that.
in Waco, Texas.
What?
It's
Is it
coming
not
up
the
at the same time.
And I just said same, and he said same at the same time. At the same time.
Coming up at the same time.
Same
Netflix
building.
revisits Americans' ghastliest cult catastrophe called the American Apocalypse. David Koresh. Some people said that he had a thing for children.
Jacob, you just showed that live.
Isn't that the way cults are, though? Cult leaders are crazy.
You just showed
Like, I
that
don't wanna- I
exact
don't
same
wanna have
building
a bunch of
live as you were
rivals and
talking
everything
about.
else.
And
You don't even know my last name.
That is
I'm
crazy.
going to reveal my coat of arms, though. My literal
I can see
last
you're already
name,
doing
because
it.
God gave me the last name Israel. He said, you'll no longer be called your last name that your stepfather gave you. You will now be called Israel. And so will you too, thank God.
I'm a robotoid.
We got me. So hit the like button and share the channel around and tell your friends.
All right, fine.
Because the thing that went down with Stephen is, for Stephen, he wasn't too scared. He's facing death. And he saw
13th.
Christ standing next to the Father. He saw Christ standing.
So I'm walking up to the art museum, and usually when I come home, I do my videos. So I have a seat, sit down in front of the computer, and then with this app, it makes it easier because I can walk around, or I can stand up wherever I want, and I can show little clips of things instead of just trying to explain something without showing you what I'm talking about. So this app is perfect.
Not seated. Like usually, you know, Christ is seated on the throne. This time he's engaged. He's standing.
So he's talking about Christ is standing, engaging, seated on it's Christ seated on the throne. It's time to engage.
He's ready to act.
I'm ready to act too.
And why wouldn't you act? Let's just take a quick look at this. Let me see if I pulled it up. I don't even know if I did. So this is right before he's put to death. And he wants to remind everybody, as I want to remind all of you, that there was a guy named Abraham.
It's live. I'm live
And
right
God
now.
said, you got to get out of there. You got to go somewhere else. And he did.
Jacob's live.
There was a guy named Jacob and Isaac.
He's live.
So as I'm saying Jacob, and then he said Jacob's live. And when I said the same, you're showing the same thing. He said at the same time, showing the same thing. Going up, almost as if it was. You can't prove any of this, but it just felt like what I had already done was already seen as to what I was going to do. But how could the person doing the video live possibly know what I was going to do before I did it? Talking to him, how can you see that about yourself already? I mean, I don't know. It's right at that point. I can't think any further than that.
And God said, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. And they did.
See,
There was a guy named Moses,
4 p.m.
a guy named Joseph. And God said, you got to do this, you got to do that. And they did. Every step of the way.
As I'm walking up the steps to the art museum,
The people in this world, they ignored God. But every step of the way, God delivered.
more steps.
God's not going to stop.
He's
now.
like the judge.
He didn't stop with Abraham.
That's like the judge, Abraham, sitting up there on the throne.
He didn't stop with Joseph. He didn't stop with Moses. And he most certainly is not going to stop with Jesus. If you want to read this account, it's in Acts 17.
I believe
And
Jacob.
this is basically Stephen going through. It's like,
tapping
listen,
in live right now.
you all are supposed to know this stuff. That I can watch you now at the same time. You'd think that I've been doing this since 2008. I'd learn how to do a live stream where I can interact with you. Well, now I can. I can see you. So I can see you. So, I'm excited. I hope you are too. This show, there's so many weird, and he explained everything. How their hearts have been hardened.
Doesn't that look like a heart? Like shaped? If you know.
Again and again and again. And they didn't listen.
Heart.
They still.
Because he's talking about a heart. I'm standing there at art museum.
Picked up stones, put them to death. I have the coffee mug right here. You can see. Didn't come out. But just so you know, that's art, baby. That's what happens. That's what happens. I'm drinking out of 2 teacups today. But the God's Champion shirt, I think, is really interesting. I didn't know this at the time. I got the shirt in the mail yesterday. The coffee mug right here, you can see. Didn't come out. But just so you know, that's art, baby.
And well, he was saying that before. When I tapped in, it was towards the end. I was tapping in around here. So he's already talking about the art. At this time, I'm sitting down at Beersheba as he's doing the video and talking about this art on this cup.
Heart. He still picked up stones. That's what happens. That's sight and everything else. And it didn't come out that great on a coffee mug. I have the coffee mug right here. You can see. Didn't come out. But just so you know, that's art, baby.
Heart.
Put them to death. Which of the... That's what happens. That's what happens. I'm drinking out of 2 teacups today.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Trying to come to terms with this.
Champion shirt, I think, is really interesting. I didn't know this at the time. I got the shirt in the mail yesterday. And you know why I did this? Because, of course, Elon, he wears the Devil's Champion outfit. And we talk about Elon a lot on the show, so why not, right? Why not? We're all supposed to be God's champions, so I'm wearing the shirt. But I didn't think that I would be wearing it and talking about the champion has arrived. What is that? How strange is that? We got over 1,600 people watching. Will you do me a favor, people? Will you please hit the like? Just X out of the chat. You're not going to miss anything. I promise I'm going to be here. Just hit the like. It helps. And after the show, do me a favor and leave me a comment. And talking about the champion has arrived. Some kind of a champion is going to stand up on March 23rd.
So me and my wife are going tomorrow, 33 tomorrow p.m., the last. That way I can go to work, come home, pick her up, go back, spend her birthday with her on 3/23/2/23. What's that about tomorrow?
So on March 23rd, which is,
you know, witches. Remember that day? Remember pointing to my hat? Remember that? I remember that. Now all of a sudden you got this guy who's a time traveler on TikTok, like TikTok Time's Up.
it's tomorrow. Aliens are going to conquer the world according to a time traveler on TikTok. This is something that we need to talk about. Right? Right?
So this was
5:22. Laugh at destruction. Job 5:22. And then tomorrow from 3/2/2018, the Matthew Daily Show, the 3/2/3/223 is 5 years and 22 days, 1,848 a.m. or 848. Be still. 60 months, 22 days, 5 years, 22 months, 1,848 days, and
We need to talk about. Right? Right? Look at the guy in the left-hand corner. He's
but look at this guy here. Look at this guy, laughing at destruction.
yesterday. Today's the 21st of October, 2019.
This is something else.
He's like, I'm thinking this is something we need to discuss.
That's right, because the next day, what happened?
You see on the right side of your screen. Damage to some Darwin neighborhoods as well. This is near Shiloh Road, north of LBJ Freeway. There are trees down, many homes with roof damage.
That's what happened the next day. As I'm pointing to my hat, Home Depot, and then Home Depot tornado tore through it.
Darwin police say they have no reports of any serious injuries, however. And a tornado, pretty clearly, I don't think we need to say may have. A tornado hit northeast Dallas last night.
We've seen the video, yeah. Brandon Todd is live in the Lake Highlands neighborhood where a Home Depot store was badly damaged. Brandon?
Yeah, good morning, guys. The damage here in this area is evident before you ever get to this Home Depot. You can see
Very, very spooky. So tomorrow, I guess the aliens are they're gonna take over.
Oh, cool. So I'll be at the art museum while that happens.
And that some kind of a champion is going to stand up on March 23rd.
Today's March 22nd, 2023, almost 9 p.m.
So on March 23rd, which is tomorrow, aliens are going to conquer the world according to a time traveler on TikTok. This is something that we need to talk about, right? Right? Look at the guy in the left-hand corner. He's like, I'm thinking this is something we need to discuss. Very, very spooky. So tomorrow, I guess the aliens they're gonna take over. I don't know if this is necessarily the truth, but the name of this time traveler is Eno Alaric, a person who claims to be a time traveler. He has revealed in one of the most popular social networks that the future of the human race is in danger. What is that? But I didn't think that I would be wearing it and talking about the champion has arrived. What is that? How strange is that? We got that some kind of a champion is going to stand up on March 23rd. So on March 23rd, which is tomorrow. There's $20 super chat. Thank you very much. Donald Trump is a time traveler, supposedly. Some people think this. I know it seems very strange to a lot of people that are new to the channel, but it is no less the truth. People believe that he is a time traveler. Now, you saw the thumbnail. You saw the thumbnail 1776. That's the time, right? It's the Great Uprising, the Great Reset. The Great $20 super chat. Thank you very much. Donald Trump is a time traveler. Trumpster's a time traveler. Isn't that right, Alan Cumby?
3 years ago.
I thought you would be here to help me, Carol. Sure.
Who gave me a generous $20 super chat. Thank you very much. Donald Trump is a time traveler, supposedly. Some people think this. I know it seems very strange to a lot of people that are new to the channel, but it is no less the truth. Let's watch and let's see what the time traveler has to say. Yes, I am a real time traveler. And prison.
Do not enter prison.
Prison.
No.
Did you hear that?
I did.
You
I
will
heard
go to jail if you talk about Christ.
it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Are you kidding me, Jacob?
That's not cool, dude.
So to think that Jacob was talking directly to me is ridiculous, ain't it? I mean, it is. It truly is ridiculous to actually think that. But it's my life. It's what I see. It's what I feel. Things I know to be true, tapping in live And this is what does it, because they feed me. They keep feeding me. That's how it works. Feeding me.
We are in the apocalypse, if you will. An apocalypse just means unveiling.
So, Jacob, I'm going to hang out with you
Terrible.
live.
But I'll tell you one thing, I'm excited about the Netflix Waco series that's
If you wanna
coming out.
Make
Who
reference
has
to
heard
anything.
about this in the
as
live
I'm
chat?
You want to make reference to anything as I'm walking? So before I show the house, Noah's Ark, there it goes right there in his video.
Yeah, tell me. Stephen Morris says the Noahide laws are coming. A lot of people have been talking about that for a long time. It's not something that I talk about.
As he's talking about being a time traveler.
Don't get so sad. Don't worry just because Waco's in the news. Make America Great Again rally in Waco, Texas. That's coming up at the same time.
At the same time that I'm showing you the same thing at the same time when Jacob's talking about the same time being a time traveler.
Netflix revisits Americans' ghastliest cult catastrophe.
I never believed in time travel. I never believed in a lot of things, Back to the Future. But something unusual is happening here where I've been noticing more and more. There are things that I do in my videos that are already talked about, like in Jacob's video, as I don't even watch it yet, and I do mine, and then I go back and look. And then, or like today, traveling in time is just being able to whether it's predictive programming, knowing where I'm going to go, knowing I'm going to eventually, show that, and then Jacob has it set up already, or my life has already been played out. This has already been done. It's already been seen. He already had a production ready, set up for a specific show. And then it happens, and I push record, and I just start tapping in, and here you go. This is what happens. So, again, this isn't about convincing anybody. This is about showing Jacob Israel. Here's what I heard with what you were saying to me directly today as I was walking to the art museum, as you're talking about time travel.
Called the ghastliest cult catastrophe called the American Apocalypse. Waco's in the news. Make America Great Again rally in Waco, Texas. That's coming up at the same time. Waco's in the news. Make America Great Again rally in Waco, Texas. That's coming up at the same time. Netflix revisits Americans' ghastliest cult catastrophe called the American Apocalypse. David Koresh. Some people said that he had a thing for children.
Jacob, you just showed that live.
Isn't that the way cults are, though? Cult leaders are crazy.
You just showed that exact same building live as you were
talking
talking about.
I don't even know my last name.
That is crazy.
I'm going to reveal my coat of arms, though. My literal
I can see
last
you're already
name,
doing
because
it.
God gave me the last name Israel. But before I get into that, I got to thank Robert Vickery. Robert Vickery. Wow, that's a very huge super chat. Thank you very much. Says that
was like a super chat too. Today was a super chat between me and Jacob, as I know in my heart what was going on today and how this works, because it's been nonstop, and it just will. What it does is this: for those of you that have eyes to see and ears to hear, you've always had those eyes. You already see it. You're already part of it. You know it's true. So I'm just confirming what you already know to be true. Then there's others where you're just like I am in the beginning, when I couldn't comprehend why these people are talking to me directly through a certain language that you can't prove, but in your heart you know it's true. I don't blame you. But to Jacob Israel, this was fun. We're going to have to do it again. I'm going to have to start doing some live streams myself. Maybe you'll pop up, or maybe I can put in that little that link, and if I'm on the go, if I can do that where you can just call like through the link, you can hop on. I think that's what time it is. I think it's time for me to go live again, considering today's date, which is a tie-in to 3/22/2023, and then in my favorite video of my crucifixion from 5 years ago, and 22 days. 5 years and 22 days ago. You know, there might be something about tomorrow laughing at destruction. I might not even be able to get to the art museum if some kind of bomb goes off at 17th and JFK at 8:48, and I'm, laughing at destruction 5 years and 22 days later. Today is 9/11 p.m. 3/22/2023. And what I said is what I should start doing again is...
All right, the fourth world power that will rule the earth. It will be more important than any of the others.
It's enough.
It will devour the whole world.
Hey guys, I'm ending it, and then I'm gonna live again.
His 10 horns.
That way I can be done with this.
Rise out of his empire. Then another king will arise.
After 3 hours. So I'm going to live again. And I'm surely going to live again, because I was already done with that from before. And now that I can't tap in live with anybody else, really. Jacob's the only one that can potentially do live streams. Well, Derek Bros does. But there's something about Jacob where it reminds me of a story in the Bible, and it's just something. It's pretty crazy how you can tap into someone live. So without just going with it, which is what I do, I'll just go with it. If I don't go with it, I won't have any results. Like today, I decided to push record. Thanks to John from Denver again from this app, because I tried figuring out this other app and it kept shutting my videos down. It was so annoying. And it deleted it and gave up. But this is so damn convenient, where if I can create this kind of energy through this phone just by going on the go, that means I don't even actually really need my computer. All I need is this to create this energy that Jacob has no problem going back and forth with. Even if it is to lead me in this direction, where it's like, well, Robin, you want to show up tomorrow? All right. You know what's going to happen to you, right? You're going to get stoned like Steven. Yeah, man. Right. Before I go in there, you're going to get stoned, just like Stephen was. Because Jesus... Oh, and then with Donald Trump getting ready to get... Donald Trump's getting ready to get arrested. Here comes the Jesus story. I don't know how they're trying to pull it off, though, because Jesus was only 30... In everybody's perception, he was 30 years old or 33 years old, or... I don't know, for some reason they said it took 46 years to build this temple, you're going to destroy it in 3 days. And other people said, you're not yet 50 years old. Instead of saying you're not yet 40 years old, considering if you're 30, common sense tells you people know a 10-year difference in your face. What kind of, are you in your 20s? Are you in your 30s? Do I look like I'm in my 40s or my 50s or my 30s? Well, you look like you're in your 40s, so you're not yet 50 years old, right? Correct.
You'll no longer be called your last name that your stepfather gave you. You will now.
My stepfather gave me. I mean, he could be referring to my stepfather, William Tees. because on record, I got my dad's last name. But I also had a David Lipham. David. I don't know if he had a sister named Beth, David Beth Lipham, or he was from the House of Ham. Not really sure, but I know that Jacob Israel's t-shirt, when he shows you, it's like
stuff happens. Just strange that so many people are so into, I like the world the way it is now. I've been waiting my whole life.
Look your cup, Jacob.
For this moment.
Ham.
Wrote
Ham,
about it in my
peon.
novel. You know that. We're going to talk
House of Ham.
About my novel in a little while, because it's very strange how it's connected to Trump. It really is. Oh, good grief. I'm just so happy that everything's working and YouTube's not messing with me.
And in the next clip, Jacob's going to reference my stepmom Karen, my brother William, and my brother Mike, who I've seen both of them today.
People have seen those deep fakes. Let me know in the chat. So many of them. That's right, Watchmen. We are live. That's right, Karen. We are.
That's right. We are live.
Live.
Karen,
isn't this awesome? I missed you too, William. I'm so happy.
William, my brother Willie, Billy Yum Yum, who I called up to.
You're all here. Michael Cohn.
Yeah, Michael, my brother, he showed up today at work because he got a $100 ticket in the mail for the Boulevard. I had to hand him his ticket. So between my stepmom Karen, William, Michael, and I think you even talked about Chrissy today. Chrissy, who is my wife's friend. That's how I met her. That's how I got set up by my wife.
Feelings on Trump being arrested. Michael Cohn. You know the show who was based on Trump? Yeah. If you look in the bottom left-hand corner, you see what Biff Tannen's dual timeline says. I don't know who was based on who. Biff based on Trump or Trump based on Biff. In another timeline. But John Trump, that's his uncle, stole it. Then he went back in time, stopped Tesla from creating it, therefore creating a new timeline where only the Trump family can time travel with a time machine from another universe. That would be the wizard, right? Upper right-hand corner.
One time Jacob Israel, what he used to say sounded so ridiculous. I can't believe I'm even contemplating on that it's real, because I'm only doing that just because of my experience. And all I can do is show what my experience is, and you, whoever is watching, is the judge with just the regular audience. And then to the time travelers themselves, I just don't. How is that possible? It can only be possible if we're plugged in, still sleeping, thinking like this isn't even really what I look like. But I'm paralyzed. We're all paralyzed in our bubble until our flesh body dies out, and then boom, we wake up. But in the meantime, our entire life was already recorded, what we did, and that's the only way that you can actually know exactly what I'm going to do. Truly, before I do it and show things and talk about things a day beforehand. That's what gets me. When you say something that happens the next day, as I see something as I'm walking it out, and it just clicks in my mind, that memory, that is the Holy Spirit will remind me of it. That's what makes me think that the time travel situation is just a little bit more elaborate than what we thought it was, and more realistic than ever.
Isn't that right, Ding? Thank you. YouTube's like, we don't like you anymore, which would break my heart, because I love YouTube. I love being on here with you all.
You're not trying to say you're leaving us, Jacob, are you? When I'm just getting warmed up with you?
But this Lionsgate thing, for some reason I woke up this morning and I was thinking about this Lionsgate thing. It was very strange. I didn't know why. But then I saw somebody on Twitter, like @JacobMe, and there was a video underneath. And the video linked to Stephen. He was the very first Christian martyr. Stephen.
So, obviously, I joke around. I go to Stephen because he was the first one that was martyred. The first one I martyred.
So, here you go, Rob. Let me show my face so you can explain.
I look at that. Look at the love in the face. 3.5 years ago, almost 4 years ago. So Stephen, as Stephen James, being martyred, but then flip the roles. If he's like Stephen being martyred, and he's like martyring me, you can kind of interchange the characters.
Stephen, the very first Christian martyr. Basically, Paul, the Apostle Paul.
I thought you would be here to help me tear off this roof.
I haven't left helping tear off the roof, because I'm helping install a new roof.
Who was Saul? He was a Pharisee of Pharisees.
And then between you and Stephen James, I would like to think that you are different people and you're not the same beast. You're not the first one I came across and then the second one who can actually do something more in a public sense than the Stephen James Deshawn character can do. But then I look at it as a Saul. There's like a Saul. He's been at it for like 13 years, 12, 13 years with the Word of God, studying it, following it, watching it, seeing it, develop it. And then Jonathan here, his son.
He kind of had something to do with Stephen being put to death. They stoned him to death. So he was kind of like the first. And where he was put to death was a place called Lion's Gate. It's weird, right? It's so weird.
But
so
a lot of times,
Trump.
When he says Trump, I'm just thinking out loud with everybody. Trying to figure out who the characters are in the world, who I believe they are. And points to Trump a lot, but Elon Musk too? How many people... This is the one question I need somebody to answer. With one of you, like one channel, Jacob Israel, for instance, how many other characters are you in the world? Like a Joe Biden, the president character, or even in the female section, what character do you play? How many of them altogether do you guys have? Between YouTube and in the mainstream media and actors and sports players and presidents, it's like you're all of you are one person there, and then you're that important person over there, and you hop in another mask and suit. Because I don't think there's that many of you.
All of that stuff, I'll show you in a second.
All right, good, thanks. Because I would really appreciate that answer. How many different characters do each of you play?
I was a latchkey kid. I was a poor kid growing up in this place called Lyons Avenue, and we used to walk through these woods.
Pennypack.
To cut through, I was a latchkey kid. I was a poor kid growing up in a relatively wealthy town, but I was in the armpit of it, like right on Portchester, New York side.
Yeah.
And started out in the projects. But
Linden Field projects. When I came to Philly, from Florida, I think I remember moved with my grandma from my mom's side, Butchie. 100% Polish. Very, very meanish. And I thought maybe that was Satan. And then the other grandmom was more like a Christ grandmom, a nice grandmom. The other one was really, really mean. The other one was really, really nice. And of course, the mean one lives longer than the nice one. The nice one, she died around 60, maybe 65 tops. And she was in the projects, and once, I assume once when I was 6 years old, going from Florida, moving back to Philly with my mom and my two brothers at my grandma's house on Tacony Street, Tacony and Harbison Avenue in Philly, in that area, at the age of 6. Then I remember moving in the projects with my dad, my stepmom Karen, and William and Michael, who Jacob mentioned, all three of them. Technically, you mentioned all four because my dad's name was William. My brother's name is William, Billy. My other brother's name is Michael. And my stepmom's name is Karen.
Any of them. That's right, Watchmen. We are live. That's right, Karen. We are live. Isn't this awesome? I missed you too, William. I'm so happy you're all here.
Could be talking about my dad because his name is William too. William and Karen.
Michael Cohn's got me.
Who's my brother, Michael. So anyway.
In the armpit of it, like right on Portchester, New York side. And started out in the projects.
So Lindenfield projects are by Linden Ave and Frankfurt Ave. They're knocked down now. And so it must have been over 6 years old, between 6 and 7. And it was only, from what I remember, just a 1-bedroom. So it's my grandma, stepmom Karen, my dad, William, my brother, William, my brother, Michael, and myself, all sleeping. I don't know how long we actually stayed there for, but then we moved in. We were going to move with my dad. But then, no, I went back to Florida when I was 10. Salmon Street from 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, in Port Richmond. So I didn't live in the projects long, but I did start pretty much there from my memory growing up.
But
and it's on the right. It's right by the verge of getting out of Philadelphia into the northeast, going into Bristol, where I moved to. So it's in the very tail end of it before it gets into a really nicer neighborhood.
I was a latchkey kid. We rented, and I would walk to school, and I would cut.
I would cut school all the time. I didn't even really go 8th grade. And then I got locked up. I got in trouble. I ran. Couldn't go to school because I was on the run anyway. So I never went into actual high school itself.
Started out in the projects. But I was a latchkey kid. We rented, and I would walk to school, and I would cut through the woods.
Go cut school through the woods.
The Lion Avenue Woods, but in the book it's called Lion's Belt, Lion's Gate, the place to get to the school. Very interesting. If you haven't gotten a copy of The Call-In, you really should. Everybody, and I say, huge breadcrumb, help me find out what this means. Stevens Gate, hashtag Lionsgate. Can you hear what the Holy Spirit is saying? Because I felt like this was an important message. I just didn't know exactly what it meant. Cannon, the cool dude on Twitter that now I'm in touch with, he responded. I guess he had actually put out a tweet the same day about the same thing. Make America Great Again rally in Waco, Texas.
What?
That's coming up at the same time. Netflix revisits America. Responded. I guess he had actually put out a tweet the same day about the same thing. Make America Great Again rally in Waco, Texas.
What?
That's coming up at the same time. Netflix revisits Americans' ghastliest catastrophe. Very strange. He said that the Lionsgate portal opened on 8.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me take a look at it again. Lionsgate. Is that a gate? Does that look like a lion's gate? What does a lion's gate look like? Well, I mean, You can look up gates with anything, and a gate will have that look to it.
Out to everybody and Granny Grits.
Hmm.
Granny Grits. I hope you're watching, Granny. I told her to dig deep. She did.
Man, are you talking about Krabby Granny? And you're talking about grits? Is that what I tasted? Like a inside of the liquid itself was grits too? Like chomping on grits?
Did some research, right? She did some research. And
there it is, Krabby Granny. Freecon's Cidery.
Lionsgate is the melding of two cosmic energies. The stars did some research. And so she found out that on August 8th, Lionsgate...
Remember the King Doge mode? I was talking about doing things, the King Doge mode. And then Steve James said, I'm like a dog that returns to his own vomit. Because if you spew somebody out of your mouth, like if you... What was this saying? I will vomit you out of my mouth. So if you vomit somebody out of your mouth and you're like a dog, like a doge, you'll go back to the same vomit that you had previously
Surname
Peter. It's like spewing the name out of your mouth all the time. I'm always spewing Steven's name out of my mouth.
It is the melding of two cosmic energies. The star Sirius coming into alignment with Earth. Sirius is the dog star, the Doge star, the EGOT, just so you know.
Wait, who's Sirius and who?
Sirius is the dog star, the Doge star, the EGOT, just so you know.
Oh, I see. I get mine.
And the sun exerting its influence from its ruling sign, Leo. Very strange. And the sun exerting its influence from its ruling sign, Leo.
So that's where you exert your, influence. Alignment with Earth, and the sun exerting its influence from its ruling sign of Leo. The day is considered a window or portal into enhanced awareness that lie beyond our usual. Yes, that's where I'm at in this awareness of things that lie beyond what's usual.
Very strange. Bad people to bring as a plan. I'm hoping that God has a plan because you never know. You know, God brings bad people to bring correction. He brought Nebuchadnezzar in to Egypt. He brought Nebuchadnezzar. And who is Donald Trump? He's Nebuchadnezzar.
There you go, Robin Michael. Here's my face, so you can exploit it some more. I love you, Robin. Anyway, I sure thought you would be here.
I thought you would be here to help me.
And action.
Sure.
He's Nebuchadnezzar. It's no joke. Okay, so listen. Let's take a look
Now,
at my essay.
Troy
that
Williams.
Everybody can get a little idea of what I'm talking about
My
from
brother-in-law.
back in the day.
If
This
you're
is
watching,
from 2015, everyone. Thank you, Troy Johnson. In the I love that I'm not missing anybody because sometimes I miss people. And
yeah, I don't want to miss anybody as I'm giving shout outs to people that may watch. You may. I've sent you videos before. People think I'm whatever you want to think I am is what you think I am. So what I am is just someone that records something and displays it, knowing I'm just putting it into the airwaves, just wherever, to whoever. It's for you. Here, take it. When is the calling? When is it over? I don't know. The reason why I keep going is because when you could tap in live to someone like Jacob Israel, it's worth continuing.
I hate I hate when I miss you if you're going to support the channel and I miss you.
Because I know that once you can do that once, I can try to make things as more obvious as possible, because the more obvious it is, the funnier it is for me. I laugh harder when it's more obvious.
Yeah. Thank you, Troy. I appreciate the support. So listen. So
yeah, thanks, Troy. You know, we'll hang out. When this is all over, once I have something in common with everybody who had always looked at me as just different than anybody that you've ever known, unusual, awkward, it's okay. I had to grow up from that and realize, yeah, you're right, that it was that way. But now I have something in common with everybody in the future because I'm a time traveler. Home Depot? It's just... And then when I'll be able to really enjoy my life with something in common to talk about with people, instead of knowing that I'm gang stalked by everybody, knowing that everybody has a tactic, just knowing who do you talk to about what things that you know besides this platform to anybody that's listening. And to those of you that are doing it to me, I say this back so you know where my discernment is. And if my discernment's off, you guys have a way of showing me that it should be corrected in a way. So I'm just trying to correct the things that I'm catching on to.
This essay, September 28th, 2015.
Like my left hand and my right hand and my head connected to my hand. All right, fine. It's such a big deal. It's like, whatever. I'm going to show you how much of a not insignificant thing it is for the next 40 days. For the first time in my life. Just to show you that it's not even who cares? If this is what the problem is? All right.
15.
Nobody can stay awake. Nobody can wait. All right, well, I'm going to find out why.
And it was kind of a follow-up to another essay that I wrote earlier. But then I had this weird dream. Now, in this weird dream, I dreamed of a domed building that I felt was very important. Now, I couldn't think of a domed building. I don't know why I didn't think of the Capitol, but there was a domed building, and I thought maybe it was this one.
Well, I mean, I wasn't looking to show that per se, but because I was heading up to Philly, and I was looking at what I was thinking was there's a dome building once you follow the angel here. There's a dome building and it's at 222 Saint Basilica of St. Peter and Paul. You have a dome building right in the center there at Logan Square. Right with this little Garden of Eden setting, desert, with fountains of water in the middle too. Fountains of water in the middle, desert around it, Garden of Eden around that. So you got the waters, you got the fountains, you got the desert, and you got the trees, and you got the 12 disciples. That's what that reminds me of. Whether you're talking about it or not, I don't know. Doesn't matter.
I was standing on a holy place, and I found myself standing in Israel. That's what I thought at the time. I didn't.
All right, so if you're standing in Israel, when I showed you that spot, that's right there. Right here. So if you're standing in Israel, I can find the reference to Israel where you would be standing at which is connected to where the dome building is. So this is how I locate the map. This is how I pay attention to what people say. I look for landmarks. And then so far, it seems like that's what you're talking about, but only because Israel is right there from that dome. Only right down the block. And there's your RFDI chip 6. And then it's the same as the mark on my forehead. It's like a 6. I made an updated portrait. You see the 6 going around like that? It could go down here. It can go down there like that on both ends. It's like a 6. So they definitely marked me up with the 6 on my forehead. But it's also like it kind of looks like a tornado, a hurricane symbol. I mean, is it a tornado or a hurricane? Hurricane. When it has the 6 on it and it spins.
MyFoxHurricane.com. So we continue to just work our way down that list. We now have Julia. Tropical storm Julia has formed in the Caribbean. You can see by the satellite imagery, still a little bit on that disorganized scale of things. It's been dealing with some stronger wind shear, but as it works its way. Thanks for logging on to MyFoxHurricane.com. So we continue to just work our way down that list. We now have Julia. Tropical storm Julia has formed in the Caribbean. You can see by the satellite imagery, still a little bit on that disorganized scale of things. It's been dealing with some stronger wind shear, but as it works its way right across Central America. So it just continues to spread a lot of flooding rains, and one of the really big concerns with this will continue to be is that flash flooding threat across Central America. You can see the computer models really kind of locked in with this idea of basically just working its way right on towards the west, and that's simply because we have this strong ridge to the north, and it just isn't going to allow it to move that far to the north as we go through the coming days. So you look at the Fox model, and we're seeing more and more of that moisture gathering up with this system. Then watch as it makes landfall and then just spreads all those rains over Central America. If it can survive long enough and it takes a track a bit further to the south, there of Nebuchadnezzar's dream. So look at that statue. Do you remember the Trump statue?
I remember the Enterprise statue. Enterprise. Which is down the road from the art museum. But there's also that statue that's right here. Outside of the art museum, which is a similar thing. It's the guy, he has one eye and looks like he's choking like a chicken in front of him that's coming from his body. So it's like that. Looks like he's choking his chicken. And that one would be that statue there. That one. I don't know if I can move up more. Yeah, I can.
Do you remember we had the magic wand? Because MAGA, by the way, in Latin does mean witch, and it's the highest form of Satanism. Just like to point these things out. But
sounds like you're talking about the Philadelphia Art Museum tomorrow.
Nebuchadnezzar's dream, you know, the different kingdoms. The last kingdom, iron and potter's clay.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mix well.
That's
that
what I
would
called
be the
that.
kingdom that we're in right now.
I called that statue the potter's clay. And then when I first showed this, I stood right in the middle and I pushed pause and then I showed you. But what I paused was Jacob saying this, and the first time I heard him as I was doing that same exact thing.
But I saw Nebuchadnezzar falling, if you will.
The other statue.
And I stood in the center of this open air plaza.
Right here, right where I'm at in the center.
Now, now that January 6th happened, it's pretty clear to me that this is probably where I was standing in the dream. People were anxious to see the presentation. Now, this is where it gets weird. Because of...
Man, it looks like a... If you didn't notice, the Philadelphia Art Museum doesn't look like a Washington Capitol type of a building with the pillars. Some kind of municipal building. Instead, it's like a gate. The Lion's Gate. Because these are bars coming down. See, it's gates. It's a gate. It's bars.
Shamans are known for witchcraft, right? I understood in the dream that everyone was there to watch what in Christianity would call witchcraft, as the presentation was hairy hair, which is symbolic of, you know, the carnal man, because hair is the farthest thing into the world that we have. Potter, which is potter's clay.
The other thing that I found amazing was this Robin over here was talking about snakes and types of snakes. Well, the adder happens to be a black adder. And the black adders are what Prince Harry is the black adder.
And all that stuff, but that's what shamans are known for, witchcraft, right? I understood in the dream that everyone was there to watch what in Christianity would call witchcraft, as the presentation was hairy hair, which is symbolic of, you know, the carnal man, because hair is the farthest thing into the world that we have. Potter, which is potter's clay. 3.
Prince Henry, King Henry. King Henry is a black adder. He's a member of the Black Adders. He's in the Black Adder, or he was. I don't know if he's. I'm sure he still is because I'm sure that's family and stuff that's going on there is all a front because he's just part of Obama. In fact, this is tied to Obama. This Black Adder stuff here, this adder chip. Okay.
Maybe just talking about a hand and head coordination. I mean, I'm gonna really learn about this for the next 40 days. I'm gonna learn, and I'm gonna study my emotions as I go, because it's something that since I've had the seed, I haven't went 40 days before. I never did that. There was no reason to. And I'm not going to do it because I feel like somebody's telling me to do it. I'm going to do it because I never did it before. And now I want to see what the big deal is. Last time I did it for 10 days, so it is what it is. And it's not like you have so much energy or anything, but at the very least, you're not lending your energy out. And maybe that's why it's like, you know, people are so tired to go to work. Well, maybe if you stop playing with yourself, maybe you'll have more energy. I mean, it might be just that simple, but I don't know. I'll find out. If it is, you know, I'll let you know how it is.
Which was the movie in the dream for some reason people were going to see, but that's The Prisoner of Azkaban. All right? Has to do with werewolves too, by the way. Wolves! Werewolf! I believe.
And that's the more. I'm the writer crew so scared of me. Cheeseburgers. What we have is an increase.
And I just did a bunch of shows about wolves. But I remember thinking that the spirit of rebellion is witchcraft, and I was told by someone I didn't see that the statue was called Laish. And the statue was called Laish. And it meant lion in the dream. This was at the Lion's Gate. Next, I realized
Laish?
that I didn't have my wallet. Could you imagine? I opened my wallet in the dream. There was nothing there. And we just had like a financial issue. I think it's just so cool. At that point, the gates came down. Everyone started running around chaotically. They ran towards the dome building. As I walked away, I found a reader of mine who was carrying a briefcase that opened up, and it looked very much like a bright red. You see it. I was told by the man that it was a bong. Who do we know?
Is that not the Lion's Gate I just showed? I was going through these right here. Did I show you that one? Which one was it? Something like that. What does Jacob just show here? I haven't even watched this video yet. I haven't watched the whole thing yet. I'm towards the end. Alright. Alright. Okay, hold on. It's 10:17 p.m. March 22nd, 2023. I'm going through Jacob's video. For those of you that can see as I go along, my own eyeballs, what I watch, or you surveil me from the other end, you know that I have not gotten to this point yet because I started to tap into him at the end. When I did the live stream today, or when I tapped in live with Jacob towards the end, what he was talking about.
Because I think that that's
General
what's going to come.
Nathaniel.
I think we're entering
Dream.
into a time of victory, not
Dream.
defeat.
Fight.
You know, so while everybody's so stressed out and
Fight.
crying and carrying on, and like, oh, it's so terrible, everything's
Not
so
defeat.
bad.
Defeat
I say
have
to
get
you,
beat.
people,
Because
things are
there
going to be okay.
is the arc.
Things are going to be all right.
In 5 minutes.
Don't get so sad.
In 5 minutes, so this was only a 7-minute long video. I'm right about here. Don't get so sad. He's getting ready to show you the arc.
Don't worry, just because Waco's in the news. Make America Great Again rally in Waco, Texas.
What?
That's
Is it
coming
not
up
the
at the same time.
Same
Netflix
thing.
revisits America.
I mean, it's perfect. It's perfection because when he shows the Noah's Ark, and I'm showing you the Noah's Ark Lion's Gate, and I'm saying I finally called on because he showed it a minute earlier. He was waiting for me to catch on. I called on. He showed it right beforehand because here I am going in that direction. And then I'm saying the same, and he's saying the same time at the same exact time.
Netflix revisits Americans. Yeah, coming up at the same time.
What?
It's coming up at the same time.
What?
It's coming up at the same time.
Same
Netflix
building.
revisits Americans' ghastliest.
So now you're showing the Lion's Gate that I had already shown because look, doesn't that look familiar? Wasn't I just showing you this? Yeah, that could be another one of those coincidences where Jacob is talking about Lion's Gate. So obviously he's going to show you a Lion's Gate. And there's a Lion's Gate. But because considering time travel, it seems to be a thing now. I just have to accept it. I don't really truly understand it, but okay.
It'll get more people here. So when we round out the show with the best part of the show, no one will miss anything. It's very helpful.
Like, in other words, you already know what I'm going to do in the next half hour when I'm finishing this video up. And there could possibly be things you're going to talk about in this video that I haven't even got to yet, which will intertwine with what I'm getting ready to see. And that is what makes me lean towards that time travel, regardless of how time travel happens. It's the fact that somebody is ahead of you doing something that you're already doing, whether it's a coincidence or it's a pure random circumstance that you just keep constantly doing the same thing, or somebody knows something ahead of time that's going to happen, but they really don't, nobody even told them. How do you know this? How did I know that Home Depot is going to? I don't truly know. I just said that, and then that's what happened. And then because I said that, then Jacob, he'll show you the tinfoil guy that's pointing at his hat the same way that I was pointing at my hat. Huh. Time travel. Time travel. How did I know? I truly didn't, but it happened. But how does Jacob know? Because I think he already seen everything. I think you guys are time travelers. But I don't think it's predictive programming. I don't think you're actually predicting what I'm going to do. I think you've already seen what I did in order to time travel. So where was that at?
Show with the best part of the show, no one will miss anything. It's very helpful, and I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. So here's the thing: Saint Stephen was put to death,
and at the art museum, on the other side of the building, right over here, there is a statue of Chief Justice John Marshall. And then there is a statue here. And his name is Stephen Girard. Right there. There's Stephen. And he is directly across from Peter. So Peter, no, I can't get there. They're both in front of, it looks like the judge, John Marshall. So this is the Peter statue. Peter Ginnarbird or something. And they're across from John Marshall. And I just happened to be here today with all those coincidences, tapping in live when I didn't even have to. I didn't have to go down. I decided to go down to Beersheba today. Jacob decided to do a live video while I was down at Beersheba. And I did say I'm going to expect, I did give it away. I said I was going to be down there. And I did say that I'll expect some kind of signs or symbols from somebody, Steve. So just let me know. I'll see if I can pick up on it. And then I decide to just tap in live with Jacob Israel. All of this. As it's like a lion's gate. When the bars are just shut. But for some reason I can't find a picture of it. I don't know. I might need to title it something different.
There's a literal place called Lion's Gate. Literal. It's literal. Let me blow this up so you can read it. It's actually, you can go visit it. You can go visit it if you.
Well, I am going to go visit it. Tomorrow. This is your ticket. This is your ticket. Please proceed directly to the entrance and scan this barcode. They'll let you right in the door.
It's actually, you can go visit it. You can go visit it if you want. All right, here we go. The start of the traditional Christian.
Are you telling me tomorrow that if I walk through that Lion's Gate, huh?
Christian observance of the last walk of Jesus. So Lion's Gate has to do with Jesus walking to his crucifixion? Lion's Gate has to do with persecution coming to the church, to the Christians? Say it ain't so, Jacob. It's so. It's so. I can't say it's not so. It's so. This is what's coming, people. This is what's coming. So, carved into the wall above the gate are 4 lions, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. This is a big deal because the walk from prison to crucifixion begins at Lion's Gate. We've been in prison. We're supposed to be crucified with Christ. Is it so far-fetched to think that there's nothing new under the sun and that we may face such persecution again? Prison.
Do not enter prison.
Prison.
No.
Did you hear that?
I did.
You
I
will
heard.
go to jail if you talk about Christ. If you talk about
Oh,
Christ.
Jesus Christ. Are you kidding me, Jacob?
That's not cool, dude. That's not cool, dude.
It's not cool. But I'll also...
I love Jesus.
I'm not that concerned. But
Jesus Christ.
I'm not that concerned. Because, there's nothing new under the sun. Because, there's nothing new
Except for what's under the sun.
And we are in the apocalypse. And we are in the apocalypse. In apocalypse unveiled.
So, Jacob, I'm going to hang out with you live.
Terrible. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm excited about the Netflix Waco series.
If you want to make reference to anything.
Who's heard about this in the live chat? Tell me. Stephen Morris says the Noahide laws are coming. A lot of people have been talking about that for a long time. Noahide laws are coming. A lot of people have been talking about that for a long time. It's not something that I thought about. Who knows? But I think that show Handmaid's Tale. I think it was very telling. And I think that as Zach says, I'm already in prison. Many people are in prison. So maybe it's time to leave prison. Maybe it's time to be crucified and to rise again. Because I think that's what's going to come. I think we're entering into a time of victory, not defeat.
Fight.
So Aubrey's so stressed out, crying and carrying on like, oh, it's so terrible,
Not defeat.
bad. I say to you people, things are going to be okay. Things are going to be all right. Don't get so sad. Don't worry just because Waco's in the news. Make America Great Again rally in Waco, Texas. Let's go at the same time. Netflix visits American ghastliest cult catastrophe called The American Apocalypse. David Koresh. Some people said that he had children.
Jacob, you just showed that live.
Isn't that the way cults are, though? Cult leaders crazy.
He just showed that exact same building live as you were talking about.
You don't even know my last name. I'm going to reveal my coat of arms. Literal
I can see you're already doing it.
God gave me the last name Israel. He said, you'll no longer be called your last name that your stepfather gave you. You will now be called Israel. And so will you. Because that's the day we're in. God, it's so good. Things are so good. Exciting to be alive. We got aliens. We got robots. We got AI.
I'm a robot.
Craziness. And we got you too.
I'm a robot too.
We got me. So hit the like button.
But I catch up to you.
All right, fine.
Because the thing that went down with Stephen is for Stephen he wasn't too scared. He was facing death, and he saw Christ standing next to the Father. Saw Christ standing, not seated, like usually. Christ is seated on the throne. This time he's engaged. He's standing. He's ready to act. He's ready to act. And why wouldn't you act? Let's just take a look at this. Let me see if I can hold it up. I don't even know if I did. So this.